So let me give you a brief update of what's taking place inside this building. As everyone here is aware, a week ago, our city suffered a catastrophic event caused by the rain and really focused in one area, primarily Choyas Creek. In recognition of the significance of that and to make sure that we were exercising every resource we had, we put together an incident management team focused just on that area. And Chief Scurry is the IC for that. That division of labor allows us to focus key resources where they're needed most to help mitigate the current impact from the storm, but additionally allows us to utilize the remaining structure of our emergency management, which is the Office of Emergency Services and the EOC, to focus and coordinate efforts on preparation for the upcoming storm citywide. So at this time, I'd like to introduce Battalion Chief Joe Scurry. He's the IC of the Incident Management Team.
Thanks, Chief Joe Scurry, Incident Commander of the Storm Recovery Incident Management Team. First, I just want to say thanks for being here. It's important for our team to get the messaging out to the public. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to brief you with some of the things that the Incident Management Team has accomplished so far. So far, more than 31 tons of mud, debris, trash, and bulky items have been removed from the areas impacted by flooding, including South Crest, Shelltown, Mountain View, Encanto, and others. Residents are asked not to dump debris on the streets or curbsides. City crews will be providing roll-off bins for debris disposal. Heavy equipment has been deployed to clear storm debris from culverts along Choyas Creek over the weekend. The city stormwater crews focus on the channels from Beta and Birch Streets all the way to Ocean View Boulevard, as well as along Imperial Avenue and Encanto. Emergency contractors continue to work clearing 7 channel locations near National and 33rd Street and Federal and Home Avenues. Teams working with the City Environmental Services Department are assisting with the removal and proper disposal of hazardous materials like paint, oil, and batteries. In what is known as the Beta Triangle, formerly by Beta Street, South 39th Street, crews can get in and access the area so that streets and public property can be returned to pre-storm conditions. City staff are going door to door in the affected blocks to attempt to notify community members of impending work to be done. At least 24 hours, no parking notice will be posted on the street at the time the street work is to be completed. If any vehicles are left that require impound, officers will attempt to contact the owner of the vehicle to gain compliance on moving the vehicle. If the registered owner cannot get the vehicle moved voluntarily in a reasonable amount of time, the officer will proceed with the impound under the applicable law. Looking ahead at this week, residents in impacted areas are urged to prepare for more wet weather and make a plan to avoid low-lying areas. And with that, this incident management team is also contingency planning. We're monitoring that weather, and we are also planning to upstaff for that weather. While the rain forecast is not predicted to be near as severe as last week's, we do expect about an inch of rain starting as early as Wednesday into Thursday morning. To prepare for the additional rain, empty sandbags will be delivered at 10 city recreation centers today through Friday between 1 and 7 p.m. Sand will be available tomorrow, Tuesday, at the rec center locations. Residents are encouraged to bring shovels to fill the sandbags themselves. For residents in the communities that were severely impacted by flooding last week, pre-filled sandbags will be delivered.
Thank you, Chief Scurry. So I'll continue to explain that along with what Chief Scurry's incident management team is doing, in the background also occurring with the help of the council districts, their personnel, and the public, is we're creating donation centers in each one of the key impacted areas, and we're reaching out, coordinating volunteer efforts to help canvass those areas, give them information, and help facilitate connecting people with the resources they need. The county has established a local assistance center. That information location has been pushed out. We've reached out to MTS to help facilitate transport of individuals in our community that have no method to get to that local assistance center. We're continuing to pursue opportunities to provide more services in the community. That's what's happening in those impacted areas. It's critical to remember that in addition, we're focused on preparing the community for the upcoming storm. Chief Scurry said and accurately articulated, this storm does not appear as bad. On Monday morning, if you looked at the weather report, this couldn't happen, and we all saw that it did. So we're following our normal protocols of preparation, but also considering what occurred in the Choyas Creek area and targeting other areas similar to that to ensure that all pre-mitigation has taken place and that we are placing the resources in their normal fashion to prepare for the upcoming weather. We're free to answer questions, and I have behind me the subject matter experts for any specific areas.
I was told that there were 70 culverts that needed to be cleared from Beta all the way up to Ocean View Boulevard. I missed it exactly. How many you said have been cleared so far, and how many more you have to go?
Yeah, so we've actually cleared almost the entirety of that stretch. We will be complete by first thing Wednesday. So we're actually going beyond the 70 culverts themselves and cleaning the entirety of the channel itself from Beta and Birch Streets all the way up to Ocean View Boulevard. That work will be completed by Wednesday.
And looking ahead, I know that there used to be a maintenance schedule where you guys would annually clean those culverts. Are you guys already thinking about what to do down the road?
Our focus right now is on storm preparation and recovery efforts.
I have a reporter question for Channel 10. Why was the canal closest to 42nd Street not considered a high risk when it was assessed for storm drain cleaning before the storm? Residents are telling the reporter it was filled with trash and overgrown vegetation. Is it fair to say the city's risk assessment in that area was inaccurate?
So every year we do prioritize our channels based on a number of factors. That includes the likelihood of failure during a large storm event and the consequence of that failure. And so we analyze all 200 channel segments across the city. And so those determinations are made by visual observation every single year. And we develop a prioritized maintenance list based on the resources we have available and the budget at the time.
Have you identified any current areas that are in danger, I should say, for lack of a better word, or a high priority? Because we've already cleared the ones down by Ocean View.
Our channel clearing efforts that are going on right now are focused on those areas that are in the most heavily vulnerable locations. So that's where we're focusing our work. And all told, we're looking at about 4 miles of channel clearing just between what started last week and where we're going to get to before this next storm.
But there's probably other channels around the city that are just as bad as that one was.
There are a lot of channels around the city. Varying conditions from lots of vegetation in them to pretty clear.
Do you have a number on how many people are actually working on the various channels?
So today I can tell you we have nearly 100 people. That's a combination of city crews supported by emergency contractors.
When you addressed his question, would that include the one closest to 42nd Street Canal?
Yes, that's part of our channel network that's assessed every year and prioritized along with all the other 200 channel segments.
And that's being cleared soon?
Yes, we're clearing all the way up to Ocean View Boulevard. That's a whole stretch that goes from Beta and Birch all the way to Ocean View.
I know you mentioned not to put the trash out in the road, obviously, for the trucks to get through. I mean, should people just pile the trash up in their yard, or what should they do with it?
Hi, yeah, good afternoon. Renee Robertson, Director of the Environmental Services Department. So in the heavily impacted areas where there's street closures, we've just cleared all the debris out, and we're going to be dropping 40-yard bins for the residents to continue whatever material debris removal they need. We're just asking for a pause right now so we can get the streets clear and then get appropriate dumpsters in, which should be occurring later this evening and first thing tomorrow morning.
And then you'll haul all those dumpsters away on Wednesday?
We will be hauling those dumpsters away as they're filled to continue to support those heavily impacted areas.
Can you tell us a little bit more about delivering sandbags to heavily impacted areas?
So we are currently coordinating the distribution of sandbags at selected sites within the high impact zone. The areas that we've been discussing, we're approaching that in a more focused standpoint with filled sandbags and help distributing those. Throughout the rest of the city, we'll be coordinating a normal sandbag setup, which generally, for everybody's clarity, means sand and bags, but not necessarily the bags being filled. And that's, we'll be pushing that out because you're what, in one sense, this is all a big shared process for all of us. It's you're the ones that are going to get the message out. We'll create the message. So we'll be putting that out so that you can distribute it through all your the media access to inform the public where those sites are.
I have one more reporter question about down trees. Are you prepping for the possibility of down trees, large limbs? Is that work underway right now?
The first, I'm addressing citywide. So we monitor the weather closely. One of the concerns is the Friday carry-on. We shift from rain in an area that's already soaked to water or to wind. We saw that last year when we had heavy rains, and then down at Balboa Park and the rest, we started to have trees fall. We're incorporating the response plan for that. So unfortunately, it's hard to tell looking at a tree right now which one's going to fall. But what I can assure you of is that we're aware that could occur, and we develop a response plan so when we're notified, we can execute that plan. And for us, a plan is a resource that can go out and address that.
Okay, thank you guys, appreciate it. These guys have to get back in, so thank you guys for coming out.
Could you just spell their names?
Thank you. Todd Snyder, S-N-Y-D-E-R. Oh, Chris, no,
Renee
I think you said-
Robertson,
yeah, you said it, right?
Director, RENEEROBERTSON. Thank you.
Thank you guys. Oh, yeah.
Joe Scurry, SCURI.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And it's Chris Heiser, HEISER, Director of OES for the city of San Diego. I'm serious. Thanks for taking the time to come out, and we're sorry we're a little short of time, but your questions are critical to us. It gives us a feel for what's happening out there, because you're the vector between the public and us, and you're willing to take this time, and I appreciate respecting our time, and again, thanks.
Thank you, Chiefs.
So Jose, can you mention the sandiego.gov/storm?
Yeah,
We can find, they can find the sandbag location there.
exactly. Sandbag locations, all that stuff on sandiego.gov/storm. And we still need residents to go to the county website to enter any damage info so that we can send that info to FEMA. That's something really important that I thought I'd mention, but
So you'll also find that on sandiego.gov/storm. We have information on, we need residents to fill out the survey that the county.
because the more damage we can report, the better reaches that threshold for FEMA to allow us funding for this emergency. So
That
yeah.
is on